right, guys, we are going to start this episode with another dog of a lifetime. This one comes from our good friend, Captain Jeffcoat, the pit boss himself. Thinking of you, we are. Captain Jeffcoat actually came and stayed with me a few weeks ago and trained with me, and we ran a hunt test together, and we had a blast. This dude has always been someone I've enjoyed spending time with, looked up to. He's one of our Patreon guys, and dude, he's just a heck of a guy, heck of a dog, man, heck of a hunter.
We've gone hunting with him. He's the man.
Yeah, we've gone hunting with him twice, and he's just a heck of a guy. And if you want to go kill sea ducks, book a hunt with the pit boss. But he sent us a dog of a lifetime, and I remember watching this dog on TV. So that's pretty cool. So Captain Jeffcoat's pit boss is Black Cork Coot, master hunter, qualified all age. When I started guiding in 1999, I naturally thought I need a dog to retrieve my ducks, geese, and brant. In 2001, I found a local lab breeding on Facebook. I truly did not understand what all the letters before and behind the sire and dam's names meant, but quickly learned. The pup I chose and named Coot was full of herself. A little black female, sired by Bill Goldstein's FC, AFC, Dr. Feelgood, I think 4. I'm not good at Roman numerals anymore. Dr. Feelgood, and Roy Scahill and Vicky Deal, Twin Pine Kennels, Gun Dog Dam. Wanting to get her trained early on, I read as much as I could, but truly didn't understand the path, steps, or flow to have a trained retriever. So basically, untrained and starting at 8 months old, I gunned over Coot for 107 days on the Chesapeake Bay, where she retrieved sea ducks 6 days a week. Dang. She learned quickly. Where else did she have to go except come back to the boat with the ducks? I do credit her success early on with getting all those retrieves, and even though possibly untrained while doing so. After gunning over her for an entire season at 13 months old, I force-fetched her and got her into the quote-unquote program. With the help of many good friends, at 26 months old, Coot was titled in the Master Hunter and qualified for the 2004 Master National. Huge congrats. She was an awesome animal and was with me all day, every day. We mostly trained for all age work, so field trials, with many great people and dog trainers like Richard Barnes, Rex Bell. Big shout out, Rex Bell's an excellent human being, rest in peace. Ed Forey, and my very good friend, Alex Abraham. If you remember the original Avery Sporting Dog logo, I took the picture of Alex Abraham's chocolate dog, Jackson, which turned into the jumping dog, like the ASD logo. So that's pretty cool little side note. Another quick side note. Training back in the day when I had Coot and Alex had Jackson, we always said, man, if I could ever have half of an all-age point, that would be like we had field champions. Alex eventually had Tucker, who earned 287 all-age points. So Alex took it and ran with that. And today, I still do not have half of an all-age point on my own, laugh out loud, but I have not given up on this dream with the current dogs I own. In 2005, I did get Coot qualified all age. Shortly after that, I got involved in filming for Ducks, Dogs, and Decoys DVD series, as well as TV, which basically stopped me competing in field trials and hunt tests. I do regret in 2008 not qualifying her for the Master National. It was held right here in Maryland. Besides her daily gun dog duties, she loved running down the gunnel of the duck boats here in Maryland. I guess I'd say a gun dog highlight in memory of her was her retrieving a canvasback in Manitoba on the Delta Marsh. She was by far a better animal than I was a dog trainer, and I owe her very, very, very much even today, where she's missed and thought of often. Oh, and then he says, we appreciate your knowledge, Bob, along with your friendship, and possibly if I do not have Coot, you and I would not know each other today. So I'm more grateful for that. Thank you, Jeff. Damn, these are getting hard, bud. Yeah. So, dog of a lifetime. Everybody's got one. They're all special. You can send Kevin, tell them where they can send their stories of their dog of a lifetime.
loneduckpodcast@gmail.com. Send them in. We're going to be sharing them here over the next month or two or so, and as well as on Patreon. So send them in. Love hearing them.
Yeah, they mean a lot to us because it always reminds us of our dogs of a lifetime. So everybody who tunes in, we're happy to read them. We're happy to share them. And so thank you. Now let's get into the episode. What's going on, everybody? And welcome to another episode of Lone Duck's Gun Dog Chronicles. This is the SRS recap. In last week's episode, Kevin and I spent some time together. If you tuned in, I kind of gave a little rundown of our summer and got peer pressured into this fella, Michael Demmer, to join the SRS up at his property up north, the Windy Hill SRS. And I'm glad I did it. So we're going to get into the show here. We've got Michael and his son, Russell. Michael won in the open division, and 16-year-old Russell won the amateur division. So do me a favor. We're going to start off. Everybody knows Michael. He's been on the show 2 or 3 times now. Russell, take a second and tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I'm Russell. I'm 16 years old. I just won the amateur here at Windy Hills SRS. I've been into dogs pretty much my whole life since Dad's been training them. I've always been around them and stuff like that. I've tried to be as involved as I can, and I think it's a lot of fun.
Very good. Where are you from?
I was born up here in upstate New York in Carthage, but I'm from Geneva, Alabama. Very
good. You're a Yankee at heart, old boy. I love it. That's why you're good at this. You've got ice in your veins.
That's right. Yeah.
The North remembers.
Yeah, the North remembers. That's right. Well, I'll tell you what, Russell, I'm going to give you some props because it was very fun watching you run the few dogs that you ran. One of my favorite parts about watching you run is you were very well composed, very patient, very calm. And if you remember, you were running one dog. I won't describe which one, but you were running one dog and it was giving you a fit. And you handled things extremely well, relatively quickly and efficiently. And you stuck through it when the going got tough and you finished the series instead of, having a meltdown or calling the dog in or whatever the case may be. You carried yourself very, very well. And I thought the dogs responded properly. And then it played a role into Series 2, Series 3, and then the finals, baby. Walk me through the finals. What dog were you running in the finals?
So I was running our dog Rue in the finals.
Go on. How old is Rue? What is Rue?
Rue's 5 years old. She's
a fox red female.
Fox red female.
What titles does she have?
Rue's HRCH Master Hunter.
Very good. Very good. That's one thing. I'm going to take a second here. That's one thing that opened my eyes a little bit more to the SRS because I had some preconceived notions and I think it could open up the door for more people to try it. If you have a nice HRCH dog, if you have a nice master hunter, a well-trained one that can go to a weekend test and handle it appropriately, and you dabble a little bit in the dark arts of the white coat game, you can show up to one of these and do all right. Learn the rules, you can play. And so to have it's not like she was a 6-time Grand Hunting Retriever champion, qualified all age, FC master hunter. She's an HRCH master hunter, and a lot of people across the country have those. And so they could come to an SRS and be successful.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that dog was trained by another pro and did her hunt test titles. And then she came to me this summer. Her owner decided to take the advice of that pro and send her up here for the summer and try to get her some white coat background. We're trying to get her qualified all age. And Russell has really, really grown fond of the little dog. Spent some time with her. He runs her and started running her and training a few times, and they just kind of meshed. So the dog was well versed in a hunt test background,
Mhm.
and her owner hunted the dog regularly. So the finals were right up her alley, and I hated to tell everybody, when you look at the dogs that were in the finals in the amateur division, I bet I don't think any of them probably ever really hunted except for maybe John Pine's dog, right?
Yeah, John's dog, Jay,
Yeah, or Blue.
Jay and Blue, for sure. I mean, they hunt their guts out all season long. Like, he retired opening day of grouse season last year on purpose.
There you go.
Yeah.
But I was sitting there looking at him, and I said, I don't know about all of them, but this little rude dog knows how to hunt. So I knew if Russell could get to the finals, he had a real shot at making a move.
Cool. Very cool. How were you? I don't remember the scoring, Russell, in the finals. So just to give everybody a recap, in the SRS, everybody gets to play the first two series. Then they cut it down to 12 pros, 12 amateurs in the third series. And then the lowest scores, meaning like the top six, but it's the lowest scores in pro and amateur, get to go to the finals. So where were you in the rankings going into the finals?
I think I was third. I think I was sitting at third place whenever we went into the. Or was it
That's
second?
pretty.
Near second or third. I know he was sitting top three after the second series. The second series is where he was really able to make his move, to jump into the top six and then stay there. He had the overall low score of the second series, put up a 9 on a triple with the Foisenberg blind. I mean, Bulldog killed it.
Yeah, that's legit.
Can you just briefly explain the scoring system for people? Like, he got a low score of a 9. Well, not 9 out of what? Or, 9 compared to what most people got, sort of thing.
The SRS is scored on a fault system like golf, where low score being good. So every action that both handler and dog take, right, they have a point value assigned to them. So, each whistle would, for example, if you engage the dog with a whistle, it's 2 points per whistle. If the dog gives you a cast refusal, it has a value of 5. So you accumulate faults based upon the dog's work in the field. So obviously, the dog that goes out there and goes directly to the bird without hunting it, and uses minimal whistles on his blind, is going to receive a way more favorable score than the dog that has to be handled to a mark, or a dog that gives you a bunch of cast refusals, etc. So what we're saying in that second series is Rue did not hunt a bird, and Rue had an excellent blind. So Russell only accumulated 9 faults in that second series. So picked up, 3 marks and a blind. So you can just kind of do the math. I know for a fact, because my wife and I were sitting back there counting. He blew 3 whistles on his blind with no refusals, and obviously within the dedicated corridor that the judges wanted to see. So we can say he safely got 6 points there. And then he still had 3 marks to pick up. And so that gives us 3 points to play with. So on 3 marks, he only scored offline points with a value of 3. So 1 point per mark. Pretty rare to do that. It's pretty awesome.
That rules. Well, congratulations, dude. What did it feel like when they announced you as the winner?
Oh, I was not expecting it coming into the event, but I was dang sure glad whenever they did. That was
I was dang glad for you, buddy.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So he is the youngest handler to ever win a qualifying event.
That's legit, dude. Well, wear it with pride, wear it humbly, keep pushing the pace. I know how hard your whole family works. I mean, you guys are a full tilt family operation with your ma and your brother and you guys.
Can you give a little background on that? Because I think that's super cool.
Yeah. So, when I had this dream of being a professional dog trainer, and then I wanted to go to these high levels, and I'm 90% AKC field trials now, so in order to do that, we obviously have to leave the heat of the South. So we come up here north. And I just could never get on board with wanting to leave the family behind, and we hated being separated. So we just we committed to this business together, and that they would come with me and spend summers with me, and we train, at home. They help me with kennel chores, et cetera, et cetera. Um, it's I mean, I guess compared to a farm, right? Everybody helps out on the farm. Same thing here. Everybody helps out here.
Absolutely.
Pretty cool, though.
That's awesome. And Michael, you came away with the win as well. What dog won it for you, and how did it go for you? Where were you sitting going into the 6th?
Going into the 6th, I was in 2nd place. I was chasing one of Owen Hall's dogs, Rain. I was always within striking distance. What I mean by that, just I was within one handle on a mark away from her. And I had a little dog named Cajun. He's 4 years old. He's a yellow male. He now has his SRSC title, and he's QA2. He's
Sweet.
finished, got a couple open jams. He's got a few master passes, but he is primarily been focused on field trials with us. He is extremely talented, biddable little dog, team player. And he's an excellent marker. Super compliant on his blinds. His line manners are perfection. He doesn't move. He watches every bird all the way to the ground. I can't say enough good things about that little dog. He's exceptional.
Good for you. Good for you. Let's dive in a little bit about the SRS. We've done it before in the past with different guests like Clark and Lyle, and I think even Carter after he won the crown that year. So if people want to go back and listen, I know we did a deep dive on the crown with Carter back in the day. But this is only the second one I've ever ran, and I'm going to still say it's pretty much my first. Memphis.
I want to hear, we also need to get a recap on how you did too, Bob.
Yeah, thank you.
Because you ran dogs.
Yep. Yeah, we can do that. Do you want to do it now?
Yeah, I'd like to do it now because I'd like to hear Michael and Russell's thoughts on beating you.
Yeah, that was, if you probably didn't listen to the podcast, Michael, but I said I wanted to beat your butt. And it was in jest, but you and I are both very competitive people, and I look up to you in a lot of ways, and it would have been fun to show up and, prove myself. And we kind of sat on the porch talking after I didn't make it to the finals. And I still will kind of be honest on here. Like I was disheartened a little bit in terms of my lack of ability to understand the point system in real time. And I would come off of the line and I'd be like, oh, it did pretty good. Or I didn't think it did good at all. And it would be like the same score as I thought as I got with a dog that I thought did okay. Like I just had a hard time. And I think that comes with experience of running it. And I judged it last year, which is the funny thing, but everyone thinks like I'm not that smart. Like I'm just not. So a year ago, I learned information. 3 days later, I forgot it. I mean, my brain just doesn't comprehend those kind of things. And so I had it dialed in during the test. And at the end of the test, I'm like, dude, I could definitely come and understand this and rock and roll. Fast forward a year, and I bring 5 dogs, and I'm getting a recap the night before from Michael going, this is in the fall area. This is out of the fall area. This is how you rack up a point here. This is this. This is, I'm like, dude, poof. So
like drinking from a water hose.
It's drinking from a water hose, and it's still an animal running the event, right? Like it's different than a hunt test. It's different than a field trial, and you are attempting to get lowest points. So in one of this, I think the second series, I gambled a bunch. I was sitting in the middle for most of my dogs. And so I gambled on not handling to see where they'd end up and maybe they'd wind it. I gambled on handling early. I gambled on, I just threw it out there to the wind competitively. It's not like I was throwing it away, but if I was going to make ground up, I had to gamble is the only way I can put it. They're either going to do it or they aren't. I took 5 dogs. Lizzie ran first. She was the 6th or 7th dog to run. And she was like the go-to dog that I thought, could come out with a win. I really believed it. She's QA2, Master National Plate. She's a hammer. She's like my trustworthy dog. And she did the worst out of everyone. And then, in fairness to Lizzie, so did I. So she came out, marked, it was a triple with 2 retired birds. The one thing I'll say about this SRS, and maybe you would agree, Michael and Russell, is the bird placement was really, really good. They didn't do anything crazy. They didn't have a lot of tricks. It wasn't some of the things that you normally see at an SRS. It was just really good marks and bird placement.
It was straightforward.
Yeah.
Field trial triple with 2 retired. They had a mandatory go bird with a water reentry, kind of angle entry, make a little swim, cross a point, get back in. Which was a good go bird, because right off the get go, your dog's got to be honest in the water to stay on the right side of that gun and get that go bird. And we saw multiple dogs cross that point, dip off left, backside and hunt. So you're racking up points right there. And then the middle retired was a booger. It was 3/4 away across the property, thrown into cover with a whole bunch of field behind it, a whole bunch of buildings up towards our kennel that the dogs wanted to suck to, a big tree that just drawn the dogs, and the bird wasn't near there. I mean, it was a well-placed bird.
Yep. And so this is where I screwed up on Lizzie, and I learned my lesson. When we watched the test dog run, I marked the bird, and it landed near some white flowers. Boom, I got it. Boom, I got it. Boom, I got it. I got to watch a bunch of dogs, but when you're up in the gallery, the angle is different than the angle that you're looking at from the line. So I come down with Lizzie. I watch the dog. I watch the bird. I watch the dog. I watch the bird. I watch the dog. I watch the bird. Kick her loose. She does a good job on the first bird, gets right to it, gets in the water, gets on the point, gets in the water, puts her face on the piece of plastic, ATB, and goes middle finger, hot lap, hot lap, hot lap, comes back and picks it up. I was like, this isn't good. I go, I turned it. Blaine and Bree and Matt were, Blaine and Bree are judging, and Matt is like the SRS.
He's the SRS field rep.
Right. So he's keeping things as straight as he can. Anywho, I turn around. I'm like, well, this ain't good. I mean, she just front-footed that thing and did not pick it up looking for a duck. Comes back out. I send her for the left-hand bird. Splits the difference. Puts on a little bit of a hunt and goes and gets it. Third bird, I handled her to the wrong set of white flowers. And I boxed her in tweet after tweet after tweet all around this group of flowers, and she just can't pick it up. I'm like, I'm screwed. She's just not smelling for plastic right now. I'm in no man's land. And it was about 30 yards deep. And so I let her go, thinking, I guess I'm just got to let her hunt. I'm a fish out of water. So she ended up picking it up, and I was like, well, valuable lesson for the next 4 dogs I run. Wrong set of flowers. I mean, they were like in line. I wasn't that far off, but I was off. So
that exception, it's hard because that field that we ran in kind of slopes slowly away to the left where all the dogs wanted to go to.
Yep.
And the bird was not thrown there. So
no. Oh boy. Yeah. So it was eye-opening, and I put us in I had the worst score there. I'm pretty sure. So I racked up the worst score. I mean, I'm gutted, embarrassed, tough. I think Quinn and Boogie and Bo, they all were like middle of the pack. If everybody was averaging 60 to 150, we were at like 80, 110, 115 type of thing. We were like 76, whatever. So we were in the middle of the pack. Then here comes JoJo, and she frog stomped it. And for most of the day, she was in the lead until Owen had to come in and get 1 point lead on me. So she had 18 points, where the rest were like in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and into the hundreds. So I felt pretty good. I'm like, okay, I got one bullet in the gun that's in that. The other three are in the middle of the pack, which means if I gamble and win, we could move up. But I just really felt like I was a fish out of water. And I don't ever feel like that at a hunt test. I do sometimes feel that way at a Q. And I definitely felt that way when I ran in 2 or 3 opens last summer. And so it was just, I'm not an arrogant guy, but it was like I didn't need to be humbled. I didn't want to get my teeth kicked in. And like each series that we ran, she went from like 2nd place to 5th place to 7th place, and then the top 6 get picked, and we got beat by 19 points. And the other thing that was humbling was, I bet you lack of experience in this game could have potentially saved those points. Like throughout the other series, there's definitely more than 19 points that, like for instance, she was in running water. I blew the whistle. She didn't hear me. So cast refusal. I blew the whistle again. It's what you do, but you don't hear because it racks up another points. And she blew that whistle off because she's in running water. As soon as she started swimming, she actually winded the bird on her own. I should have trusted her, but it just was like, just didn't feel right. And then, but in essence, I got 14 points that didn't need to be gotten. So it was a good learning experience, very humbling, very fun, great group of people. So we ended up getting, long story short, everybody listening, we ended up in 7th place with JoJo, missing the finals by 19 points. But at that point, even if I did get in and, I was behind by 75 or 100, anywhere between 75 and 125 points behind the people in first place at that point. So it was a good experience. I mean, someone
Here's
asked
the thing about the thing about the SRS, Bob, is you're never out till you're out. That thing is full of highs and lows. You can be 100 points behind. All of a sudden, they put something in there that a poison bird or a major penalty. Like in the finals, we had a 100-point penalty for picking any mark up before the blind. We also had a 50-point penalty for not going around on the correct side of a decoy they had placed on the water blind.
Right.
So I mean, all it takes is somebody to bobble, miss that decoy, boom, there's 50 points in your favor.
Yeah.
All of a sudden grabs that poison bird, boom, now you're winning. Like, it's a lot. It's kind of like Texas Hold'em, right? Like, you could be almost all the way out, go all in, and all of a sudden, boom, now you're doubled your money.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. For me, I never felt like confident. Yeah, I didn't feel confident that I would get that swing. And I just feel like it's because of my lack of understanding of the points.
It really does. It does help you come up with a strategy. If you really understand the point system, you understand where you get all of your points, you can look at, and I had to do it in the finals. I knew that if I handled on a mark, there's no way I could catch the dog ahead of me.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that 1 or 2 behind me had made a move up, and so they had five marks on the ground, and they had that left-hand bird, and my little dog missed it, and he started hunting, away from the bird. And if this was the 2nd or 3rd series or whatever, and I was in survival mode, I would have blew that whistle and boom, tried to one cast into the bird. But I knew if I blew that whistle, I couldn't win. And, we didn't come here to get 6th place. We have a little motto in Windy Hill, and our client Rob used it, and he unfortunately went on the bad end of it, but we go for 1st or 6th, baby. Like, we're shooting to kill. Like, yeah. And that's kind of, I let that little dog hunt, made that gamble. I ended up getting a handle in the area. He hunted his way back to the area, put a quick whistle and, on the dog, and he was in the area. So it was only 2 points versus 22 points.
Right.
And ended up, pulling out the win.
Good for you. Yeah. I think someone asked me, would I do it again? like would I, and actually they were like, why don't you come to Lyle's? Like, bro, I ain't driving halfway across the country for one. I will do it again next year. I would maybe do 1 or 2 in the wintertime down south when they're around and see if I can get my legs underneath me a little better next time, because I do feel like my dogs are capable of it. I also feel like I can look in the mirror and say there are things that I haven't done enough of this summer in preparation for hunt tests instead of the field trials that could have crispened up those kind of series, right? Like I do see that as a little bit of my downfall this past weekend, but I was still proud of the dogs. I still had fun. It is something I would do again, but will I chase it across the country and strike out after the crown, next year? Probably not, but it was also something I would encourage anybody with their HRCH Master Hunter, Qualified All-Age Dog, Grand Hunting Retriever Champion, Master National Plate having son of a gun. You should go and have fun and see what it's all about. Russell, what do you think, buddy? Have you ever ran a hunt test, Russell?
Let's go over your history on the events you've run, because it hasn't not been a lot.
Yeah. I ran some started tests.
When he was about 5 or 6 years old, he ran our old dog and started.
Nice.
And then I think the next event he ended up running was the SRS University. Big difference in that is that he's got a coach sitting behind him, coaching him what to do every play.
Right.
And then what have you run since SRS University? He ran a couple qualifying SRSs.
Yep,
He ran Dogtown, which is at Stephen Durance's kennel. He ran that this year. Went out in the second series. And, this is kind of a cool story about how the community in the SRS can get behind, we're all competitors and trying to beat each other, but they came up to him at the end of that second series. Little doggy was running no-go'd him on the blind. She was a little confused. He was not as confident of a handler as he is now. And they just kind of weren't on the same page. So he got disqualified. And a man that I've grown to respect, his name is Marcus Bice. He's a pro trainer in South Georgia. He came up to Russell and he told him something really cool. He said, Russell, you can get your butt kicked and quit, or you can get your butt kicked and get better. The choice is yours. And he walked away. That's all he said to Russell. And Russell has told me more than once, that he took that as a personal challenge to get better.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, I definitely have hats off to you, buddy, because, I do it for a living. I enjoy doing it. And most of my dogs kind of got their butt kicked, I guess. I thought they did good, especially for our first one, but they didn't do great. Like you said, I'm playing to win. If I'm driving, if I'm taking my only weekend off of the summer, I wanted to win. I wanted to come home with a blue ribbon. And I was excited to give it a college try. I'm proud that we got to the third. But I would love to dig my teeth in a little bit more, learn them a little bit more, be better prepared next time. Like Lizzie, we didn't have ATVs. I had to order them off of Amazon, dude. Like 4 days before she saw an ATV. It's like not well prepared. So I would definitely come out gunslinging next time and hope to see you in the finals and have some fun.
Oh man, you showed it throughout these series that you can get there. Understanding this game, you get a little more experience in it. Like this is not a game that you step into and are immediately successful. That doesn't happen. If it does, that's more the exception than the rule. So, to get better at them, you have to run them. And I used to learn the hard way. I was the guy showing up with 1 or 2 and absolutely just embarrassing myself. And then got better, finished 4th in the crown last year, whatever. Like you just got to go. You got to show up. Keep showing up.
Yeah, no doubt, dude. I appreciate it. And it was fun. And I appreciate you and your whole family and everybody who worked there. Shout out to Bree and Blaine for great setups. The last piece that I will say, and this is not a knock on Blaine and Bree, this is human nature. I did have a hard time understanding the point system because they did seem to kind of fluctuate.
Yeah, I think you said it right. It's human nature. The first, you hate to see your number get drawn to running the first 10 dogs in the SRS, because I always feel that's the time that the judges are really figuring out their scoring, what they're really looking for. They have an idea what they're looking for, but now they've got to look at the dog work and put a point value to it. And that, that can be challenging. And they want to make sure they get it right, and they want to be consistent.
Yeah.
And I really feel that, as the day goes on and you're sitting there in the sun and you're getting tired, like, yeah, maybe your scoring fluctuates a little bit. And then all of a sudden, you're wrapping up the last 5 or 6 dogs. You start hitting them hard again because you're really paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it, we saw some fluctuation in scores, but there were some things I was able to look at and say that they were being consistent. I might not have agreed with why they were giving the points.
Right.
I didn't like how they were judging a few things, but they were making it consistent for everybody, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, I agree. And I thought they did a great job. That didn't help me in the beginning on the first few dogs that I ran, where like I thought, again, I would look at one dog's run and then another dog's run, and then it'd be different scores by like 30 points. I'm like, how'd I miss 30 points? But again, I think that's my lack of experience of running it, where you would have said, well, yeah, he got dinged for being out of the fall area. There's your 20, and you missed 2 cash refusals. Oh, okay. There's 30 points or something where I didn't catch that. So it does come down to experience. And I think Blaine and Bree did a great job. It just kind of, I would go and look at the scoreboard and be like, well, I'm still screwed. I don't understand. So I'm just going to do the best I can and have fun doing it. And, that's kind of the takeaway for me.
Yeah, for someone new to this game, you want to definitely have an understanding of the rules, but you can't focus on that. You go out there and give the judges good dog work. Good dog work is the same whether it's the SRS, a master test, a field trial. You mark the bird by proceeding directly to the area and picking it up, right?
Right.
That you do that, consistently, you're going to get less points. And then that go up, give them good dog work, run a good blind, work with your dog, run good marks.
Yeah.
Don't overthink it.
Yeah. No, I agree. Well, I appreciate it. You, Russell, do you got anything you want to add?
Watch out for me at the crown, baby.
Oh, yeah. You going to go, Russell? You going to run that dog in the crown?
Yes, sir. I'll be there at the crown.
Hey, Russell didn't tell me this. He told his mother, and I wasn't going to share it, but I'm going to because it's so cool. You can't. He told her, he said, I don't have to worry about getting in their heads. I'm already in theirs. Yep.
Attaboy. True competitor. I love it.
That rules. I also wanted to hear, we've been doing a dog of a lifetime. Russell, we kind of chatted a little bit before the show about dog of a lifetime stories. Is there a dog that you'd like to share a story about, kind of that got you into things or that was real impactful for you?
Yeah, I like to share a story about a dog that really got me into it. The SRS game was, her name was Ultra. She was, how old was she at the time? She was
Ultra is 8-year-old, 4-time grand champion, QA2 SRS champion. She was a very Master National Hall of Fame dog, HRC Hall of Fame dog. She was just,
that's a stud.
Yeah, she was a total stud. We realized that Ultra, being at the age she was at, kind of wasn't able to compete in the open division. But we thought that, especially for the SRS University and some amateurs, she would do well there. So tell them about your girl Ultra.
Yeah, so wasn't that the time that Dory came in heat? So then I had to run Ultra and this other dog, Roe, in the SRSU. Because originally I was supposed to run this other dog, Dory. But then we had Ultra there, and Dory came in heat. So I said, well, I might as well give Ultra a try. Try running her in the SRS game, because she'd be pretty dang good. And I started training with her for, I think it was like the week before the SRS. And she was doing pretty dang good for me in training.
He went there and I mean, he ultimately, what place did you finish?
I ended up finishing 5th.
He finished 5th, so he finished top 6 at his very first SRS university. And I mean, that dog and him, after that, Ultra was not allowed to be in the kennel. She had to sleep in his room. I mean, and
She did.
yeah, Ultra stayed with us, and she was as much part of our family as her owner. She stayed inside, and her and Russell bonded, and that's the dog that he learned on. That's the dog that set the hook for him.
Cool.
And when Ultra retired, it was a sad day because we had to, we brought Ultra back. Ultimately, we didn't own her. She had an owner, and when she retired, she went home, and it was like, we lost one of our own.
Yeah. Dude, that's cool, man. I remember that dog too, and she was just tried and true. She just gave you 110% every time she stepped to the line, and you could trust her, and she was a really good dog. So I'm glad you got to experience a dog like that, and kind of made you want more and try on more dogs, and look at you now.
Yeah, he's got his own puppy coming up finally. So, he's always handled some of either my client dogs or one of my old dogs or something like that. But, last year he asked for his first puppy. And the sire to his puppy is the leading amateur team of the year, Leah Spivey, and her dog Kane, bred to our little Dory dog. And what's your dog's name now?
His name's Joey.
He's got a cool registered name. What's his registered name?
It's Windy Hills. How you doing?
The call name is Joey. And Russell's, he's building this dog himself from the ground up. And I'm hoping this will be his next dog of a lifetime.
That's legit. That's
pretty cool.
Russell, you also have a YouTube channel.
I do. We're called the Pond Hoppers.
The Pond Hoppers. I subscribed. It's him and his buddies going out fishing and ripping lips. And so if you'd like to subscribe, give old Pond Hoppers. We'll put the link in our bio.
Yeah, we'll do that. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's big time in it now.
Yeah, so now you got to produce more content, son. We talked about content is king. Put more content out.
I was getting some content before I came on the podcast. I was out there fishing on the river.
Good for you. Did you catch anything?
Had a couple. Not any big ones, but I was.
That's all right. Ripping them lips. That's all you got to do. Well, guys, I appreciate you jumping on. I appreciate you doing the recap. Everybody who tuned in, can't thank you enough. Can't thank you enough for the support and checking in on how I did. I was proud of us. I was disappointed in us. I had fun. It was cool. You should try it. So look out for an SRS in your area. Give it a whirl, or at least go and watch and have fun and shake hands and kiss babies while you're doing it. So Michael and Russell, the Windy Hill Tag Team Champions of the World, the Denver. Yeah. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Oh, and last quick shout out is Michael is still looking for a full-time assistant. So hit him up. We'll put that link in the bio too for his email. So Michael, check your emails, but he's looking for an assistant. So you heard him maybe 2 months ago talk about it. Great opportunity to go join a winning team and be a part of something special. So hit him up. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for your evening. Tell your family I said hello, and we'll catch you soon.